Hello, it's Weekend Handicapper from weekendhandicapper.com. In this video, we're going to talk about how to bet on horses without going broke. That's a tough task, but I think I got 5 tips for you that will increase your chances of not going bust. If you like these kind of videos, if you want to learn how to bet on horses, how to make money betting on horses, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, notification bell, so you can get all the latest tips, tools, and resources to help you win money on thoroughbred horse racing. Okay, horse racing, betting on horses, handicapping. Very difficult game. Very difficult game. You got the track takeout to overcome. You got to depend on these horses to do what you think they're going to do based on what you decipher on paper. So it's very difficult to win in the long run, but it can be done. And what I'm getting ready to tell you is 5 tips that can really increase your chances of keeping that bankroll intact and preventing you from going bust. So number 1, follow 1 or 2 circuits, 2 circuits at the most. If you focus most of your attention, if you play year round, these tips are for people that play consistently, not just once or twice a year. We're talking about playing fairly often. If you can focus your attention, your energy, your time, your research, your bankroll to 1 circuit, then you will be amazed how well you do in horse racing, because you become familiar with the trainers at that track, the horses at that track. You become familiar with track trends, maybe track biases. Where do horses win from at certain distances at that particular track? What kind of horses like that track that ship in from other tracks? So horses that ship in, shippers. You can see what post positions, you'll become very familiar with what post positions win the most. The par times, which is basically the times at different points of the call that usually result in winners at a particular track. You get so specific and so familiar by just focusing on 1 or 2 at the most racing circuits. So typically the most common racing circuits in North America are New York, Kentucky, California, Southern California, Northern California, Florida. And then you got the Midwest circuit that some people follow. But the point is, just pick 1 or 2 circuits that you're going to devote a lot of time to. And that way you become very familiar with equine and humans that are involved with those racing circuits. So that's one way to increase your chances of not going broke when you bet on horses. The second one, along those same lines, you don't want to bet on horses that have various unknown factors. So only decide to bet on horses that are proven. And horses can be proven in multitude of ways. They can be proven at the track that you're playing, so the circuit. Have they won at the track that you're playing at? Have they won at the distance? Have they proved themselves that they can run competitively at 6 furlongs or a mile and a 16th at certain distances that you handicap? Have they proven themselves on certain class levels? Are they in over their head? Have they proven themselves over or after a layoff? So if you want to increase your chances of not going broke and running out of money in your bankroll, stick to those horses that you know kind of what you're getting. Now, that certainly doesn't mean you're going to win all the time, but it's going to, at least you know you have some data to back up those betting and those wagering decisions. So that means don't bet on first-time starters or lightly raced horses that are just maybe had 1 race under their belt. So look for races at those tracks, circuits that you follow or look for horses at those tracks that you follow that are proven, that have a history of doing well. Just be patient, wait for those races to come along and those horses to come along. That should increase your chances of winning more often and not losing too much money. Another way to do it, 3rd way, is to bet just on dirt races. I love turf races. They're wonderful. They're exciting to watch. You can make some decent money betting on turf races. But if we're looking at it from a perspective of how do I increase my chances of winning regularly and upping my chances of not losing too much money. There's been, I can't tell you how many times in my personal wagering experience, and I guarantee a lot of you all out there had the same thing. You've had the best horse many a times in turf races, but they didn't win. They got blocked, ran into traffic trouble, couldn't get around tiring horses, got trapped in on the rail, had to put on the brakes because all this mess up front in the stretch. A lot of times, turf races can be a crapshoot down that stretch. It's a cavalry charge, and you're at the mercy of jockeys' decisions and whether or not holes will open up for your horse that had plenty of horse and plenty of talent, just ran out of real estate. That happens a lot more in turf races than it does in dirt races. So just by eliminating turf races, you increase your chances of winning more often and not losing as much money. That doesn't mean every single turf or dirt race that you bet is going to work out just like you thought it would. There's traffic trouble, certainly, bad trips in dirt races, but they're less often. So that's another way. Another thing to kind of consider is stick to mainly win bets. Again, if you play consistently, if your bankroll's not that big, and if you want to up your chances of not going broke, then maybe stick to just win wagers, the win bets, until you get good at picking winners consistently. Watch out from playing too many exotic wagers like exactas, trifectas, superfectas, pick four, pick five. Now, I understand that there's a sound strategy that the only way you're going to win in the long run is hit these big scores in those exotic tickets, and hopefully you could tread water, stay afloat until the next one comes along. So I certainly understand that. I love exotic wagers more than anybody, probably. I love it. But again, this video is for those who want to be conservative, more on the conservative side, and how to find ways to conserve that bankroll, keep that bankroll intact for the most part, or at least make it last a good while. And your bankroll could get drained very quickly when you're betting too many exactas, superfectas, pick fives, several pick fives a day, unless you got a huge bankroll. So keep that in mind. Maybe stick to just win wagers, get that down, that part of your game down first, until you get a bigger bankroll where you can sustain these long losing streaks with those exotic wagers. So stick mainly to win bets is another way to help or increase your chances of not going broke when betting horses. And along the same lines, our fifth and final way, our final tip, is to bet a consistent, disciplined percentage of your bankroll. Typically, most players that I've encountered, usually about 2 to 3% of your bankroll. Whatever your bankroll is, each wager should be about 2 or 3% of your bankroll. Now I know that can vary some. I'm sure there's some players out there bet 5%, or 8%. There's probably some horse players out there, some handicappers that have no idea. There's no rhyme or reason how much they bet or how little they bet. They just go with their gut. If they really like a horse, they'll put $30 down on it. And then the next race, they'll put $10 down on the next one. So it might fluctuate. But if you consistently bet, say, a percentage, 2 to 3%, then your risk of ruin is pretty good will go a long way if you're a pretty good handicapper. So let's recap. 5 tips, 5 ways to how to not go broke when you're betting horses if you bet consistently. Pay attention to a certain track or a track circuit. Follow that circuit. Know all the players, know all the horses, know all the ins and outs of that circuit. That's going to increase your chances. Number 2, bet consistently on proven horses. Horses that have ran at certain distances, the track that you're playing, at certain class levels, etc. Do not bet too many times on unproven horses or first-time starters where you have no idea what's going to happen, or horses trying turf for the first time. There's so many unknown factors that you might want to just stick to those horses that have proven whether or not they've been competitive under certain variables. Number 3, try to stick to dirt races. Dirt races, overall, you should encounter less traffic trouble, less bad trips, and that might increase your chances. Number 4, definitely stick to win wagers until your bankroll is large enough to sustain those long losing streaks. So watch betting too many exactas, trifectas, superfectas, pick 4s, pick 5s, and pick 6s till that bankroll can sustain it. So until then, stick with the win bet. And finally, bet a percentage of that bankroll. 2 to 3% is recommended, but whatever you're comfortable with. But if you're looking at it from a longevity standpoint of not busting and going broke, 2 to 3% should get it done. Just bet that percentage of your bankroll. So hopefully these tips help you out. Hopefully it'll make your money last a lot longer. Hopefully you'll start seeing more success. I know you'll miss out on some long shots on turf. You'll miss out on some first-time starters that might pay a lot, or if, you can look in hindsight and be like, I could have had that trifecta if I would have bet this. These are my top 3 horses. Yeah, that's going to happen, but stay patient, stay disciplined. In the long run, you should start seeing some more success, and at the very least, you'll make your bankroll last longer. So if you like these videos, hit that like button, that notification bell, so you can get all the latest videos from Weekend Handicapper. Check out weekendhandicapper.com. Until next time, good luck, happy handicapping, and smart wagering.